Artificial intelligence used to feel like something from science fiction. We imagined intelligent machines, robots that could think like humans, and computers capable of understanding the world around them. But today, AI is no longer just an idea about the future. It has quietly become part of everyday life, and many people already use it without even realizing it. When you search for something online, receive recommendations for a movie, translate a message, remove an object from a photo, or use navigation to find the fastest route, artificial intelligence may already be working somewhere in the background. But over the last few years, something important has changed. AI has moved from simply analyzing information to actually creating things. Modern AI can generate text, images, music, voices, videos, presentations, websites, and even software. You can describe an idea using normal language and receive something that previously required hours or even days of manual work. And this is probably one of the biggest reasons why artificial intelligence suddenly became interesting to millions of ordinary people. The basic idea behind modern AI is actually easier to understand than it sounds. These systems are trained using enormous amounts of information. During training, the model learns patterns and relationships inside that information. A language model, for example, learns how words, sentences, concepts, and ideas are connected. An image model learns relationships between visual elements and descriptions. Other models can learn patterns in sound, video, code, or scientific data. This doesn't necessarily mean that AI thinks exactly like a human. Instead, it becomes extremely good at recognizing patterns and generating useful results based on them. And that distinction is important because AI can sometimes appear much more intelligent than it actually is. A system may produce a confident and detailed answer while still making a factual mistake. It can misunderstand context, invent information, or fail at surprisingly simple tasks. That's why AI should usually be treated as a powerful assistant, rather than an unquestionable source of truth. At the same time, the speed of improvement is difficult to ignore. Only a few years ago, AI-generated images were often easy to recognize. Faces looked strange, hands were distorted, text inside images was almost unreadable, and maintaining the same character across multiple pictures was difficult. Today, the difference can be dramatically smaller. Video generation is following a similar path. Early AI video models usually produced short and unstable clips. Objects could suddenly disappear, characters could change appearance, and movements often looked unnatural. Newer systems are becoming much better at understanding motion, camera movement, lighting, physics, and consistency between frames. AI voices have also changed significantly. Instead of obviously robotic text-to-speech, modern systems can reproduce pauses, emotion, pacing, accents, and different speaking styles. In some situations, synthetic speech can already sound surprisingly close to a real recording. But perhaps the most interesting development isn't any individual AI capability. It's the fact that these capabilities are beginning to work together. Imagine describing an idea for a short film. An AI system could help develop the story, write the script, design the characters, generate environments, create individual shots, produce voices, generate music, and help assemble everything into a finished video. The same concept applies outside creative work. A programmer can use AI to understand unfamiliar code, find bugs, generate new functions, or quickly create prototypes. A designer can explore dozens of visual concepts before choosing one direction. A marketer can analyze information and create campaign ideas. A student can ask for a complicated concept to be explained in simpler language. A researcher can process large amounts of information much faster than before. This changes the role of the person using the technology. The valuable skill is gradually becoming less about manually producing every individual element and more about knowing what you want to create, how to describe it clearly, how to evaluate the result, and how to improve it. In other words, AI doesn't automatically make everyone an expert. If you don't understand what a good result should look like, it can still be difficult to recognize mistakes. Human judgment remains extremely important. There are also larger questions surrounding this technology. What happens to jobs when certain tasks can be automated? How do we identify AI-generated information? Who owns something created with artificial intelligence? How should companies protect private data? And what happens when realistic artificial images, voices, and videos become almost impossible to distinguish from authentic media? These aren't theoretical questions anymore. Governments, companies, researchers, creators, and ordinary users are already dealing with them. There is also a common fear that AI will simply replace people. In reality, the transition is likely to be more complicated. Some tasks will disappear, others will become faster, entirely new jobs may appear, and many existing professions will probably change rather than completely disappear. We've seen similar transformations before. Computers didn't eliminate office work, but they completely changed how office work was done. The internet didn't eliminate businesses, but it transformed how businesses communicated, sold products, and reached customers. AI could represent another transformation on that scale. The difference is speed. These systems are improving extremely quickly, and the barrier to using them is becoming smaller. You no longer need to understand complicated programming languages to experiment with artificial intelligence. In many cases, you can simply explain what you want using ordinary language. And this may be one of the most important changes of all. Computers traditionally required humans to learn how machines communicate. We learned commands, interfaces, programming languages, menus, and complicated software. AI is beginning to reverse that relationship. Instead of humans constantly adapting to computers, computers are becoming better at understanding humans. We can speak to them, show them images, give them documents, ask questions, describe changes, provide examples. And increasingly, the system can understand what we're trying to accomplish. We're still at an early stage, and nobody knows exactly where this technology will lead. There will be impressive breakthroughs, disappointing limitations, useful applications, bad applications, and probably many developments that are difficult to predict today. But one thing already seems clear. Artificial intelligence is becoming less like a separate technology that we occasionally use, and more like a layer that will exist across many of the tools we already use every day. The important question may therefore not be whether AI will become part of our lives. It already has. The more interesting question is what we decide to do with it.